Hi, everybody. I'm Heidi Monika Romer. I'm a proud United Latinas board member, and I'm so happy to be here with Ilka Rodriguez. Welcome.
Thank you.
Thank you so much for being here. Today, we have like some really cool stuff to talk about. I had an opportunity to speak with Ilka, and her story is pretty amazing. I'll even say pretty badass, if I'm allowed to say that. Kind of bad. And our theme today is going to be compassionate candor, the art of impactful performance feedback. Ilka, thank you so much for being here with us today.
You're welcome, Heidi.
Yeah, so I got to ask you because we talked about names and the importance of names, right? So I introduced you as Ilka Rodriguez, but if you can take a moment to introduce yourself, what's your full name, loud and proud, where you're from, what city you're in, and how would you like to introduce yourself to the community?
Sure. My full name is Ilka Sofia Rodriguez Barrios. Rodriguez coming from my Cuban father and Barrios from my Colombian mother. First born in the United States in my immediate family. Was born in Teaneck, New Jersey. Grew up in Hackensack, New Jersey. And I now live in Sarasota, Florida.
Okay, so first gen, I can relate. And you're a Jersey girl. I'm your neighbor. I'm grew up in the Bronx, so
Okay.
where we have that connection there. Thank you for sharing that about yourself. I don't know Jersey. Like I have to tell you, I think I've been to Jersey like 3 times in my
Oh,
life.
wow.
I
You're
did-
missing out, Heidi. You're missing out.
it's like, where do I go? Like, but I was there recently. I'm not gonna lie. I was in Edgewater, and the view
Oh, yeah.
from the
From right on the
city
Hudson. Yeah.
was spectacular. So I was like, oh, maybe Jersey, they got it right, but
Well,
yeah.
for the longest time, New Yorkers thought they owned the Statue of Liberty, the land, but it's actually New Jersey.
Is it?
Yes, it is. Actually, let me take that back. I believe it's no, I think it's maybe half and half, or no, I think we do own Liberty Island, the Garden
Okay,
State. Yeah.
everybody, all the New Yorkers, let's double check that, okay? Let's double check those fun facts.
But we have the best diners in the United States. That you can't dispute. Jersey diners.
I'm gonna dispute it.
Oh, wow. Okay. You're such a New Yorker, Heidi.
Right? I'm like, I don't know. Oh, I don't. Maybe we didn't think this hard enough, right?
And I bet you root for the New York Yankees, right?
All day, baby. Giants fan.
New York Mets.
No,
yep,
absolutely
New York
not.
Mets.
Huh. Okay. We're gonna digress, everybody, because this is gonna be a Jersey versus New York conversation real quick. We have some real stuff to talk about.
Yes, we do.
Oh, so Ilka, for those of you who don't know, is the Tampa president. That's a big deal. That is.
Thank you.
It is new chapter, new beginnings, bridging new connections. So, when is that happening?
Our first event is October 15th, the last day of Hispanic Heritage Month, from 5:30 to 8:30 p.m. at the Columbia Restaurant, which is a landmark in the Ybor City section of Tampa. It was established in 1905, and it's been continuously owned by the same family, the Gonzalez family, Cubans of Catalan descent. And it's the largest Spanish restaurant in the world.
All the things you said, I didn't know. And
yeah,
I love how you're going to have kind of this new chapter, new event on the last day of Hispanic Heritage Month, almost like, I know you're ending, but we keep it going.
That's right.
I'm loving that. Oh, I got to see if I could go there.
Oh, yeah. Tampa's great. I'm telling you, the Gulf Coast of Florida, nice. Yeah, beautiful beaches. Yeah, great.
I'm in Southeast Florida, and I love my beaches. I feel like we have some
like state rivalry, coast rivalry.
Beach.
Oh boy.
Right.
Beach. Hey, well, I won't even go there. Okay,
Yeah.
that's fine.
This is funny. We didn't talk about any of these things before.
I know.
This is great.
Let's get down to business.
Ilka, I have to ask you because yeah, you're pretty dope. And I am wondering, how did you find out about United Latinas and what made you not only want to join, but you are going to be leading a chapter in a pretty cool city in Florida?
Well, I honestly, Heidi, I don't even remember how I happened upon United Latinas. But when I started looking, I looked at the website and I thought, oh, this is interesting. And then I forget who I contacted. And I said, I'm interested in joining. Oh, I already been to the website. I want to talk to the president. Mm-hmm. So Ileana kindly gave me 15 minutes, which turned into much longer. Yes. But as we started speaking, I said, I see that you're starting to build chapters. You don't have one in my area. Mm. And then just like this, she says, do you want to start it? And I said, sure. Wow. So here I am. So I think I've been with United Latinas since February, I think.
Okay. Yeah. Wow. Yeah. Mm-hmm. But I want to point that out because I do think, like most things, it's what you make it, right? If you can be a member, and there's tons of opportunities, right?
Yes.
Not only individually for yourself, but also to be connected to the United Latinas community. But you can do more. And I feel like you went from A to Z, but in the best way. Like now you're going to be leading. Very cool.
Well, a couple of things, Heidi. I'm a seasoned federal executive. And at age 62, I don't mentor people who are not worth my time. Mm. I don't join organizations that I don't feel are in alignment with my leadership values. Yep. And I think I've hit the jackpot with United Latinas. Mm. I've been so impressed with Ileana and her leaders and the membership. And I kind of went on a limb and went to the Brave Voices conference in Charlotte. Yep. In April, because I wanted to see for myself whether my first impressions were real. In the intelligence business, we say trust but verify. Mm. So I was doing the verify, and wow, what a great experience. And Ileana was kind enough to offer me an opportunity to be a panelist. Mm. It was a panel on career transitions. Wow. And Rosana Scarpetti and Jacqueline, ¿cómo se llama el apellido de ella? Gorgeous woman.
Oh, tall.
Dominicana.
Yes. I say her name. It's like Gerena. I feel like I always spell her
name.
Gerena.
Yeah.
She's great also.
Yeah, we were on the panel, and Lisette Zubi from California was the moderator. Wow. Stars, all of them. Wow. And I felt like, wow, I've been welcomed here. So so it's a great organization. I want our chapter launch in Tampa to be the biggest ever. Wow. Having it at the Columbia, which is a landmark in the Gulf Coast of Florida. They have 7 restaurants across the state. Their story, just the story of the family is amazing. And the place is beautiful. And the place we're having it is actually across the street. It's called the Museum. It's like an annex, and it's where the Gonzmart family has furniture and instruments and art that they've collected over these 100 some odd years. Wow. And so it's going to be really cool. And it's big enough, I've got to fill it. So I'm working it hard to get members.
I gotta see if Sammy's in town. Maybe we can drive over there and bring some friends.
You're in the Orlando area, right? Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. No, very cool. That's very cool. I have a question. I have like 2 questions, but one, I'd love if you could take some time to tell us about your business. Tell us a little bit more about you, your story. Who do you serve? Like just all the things. Yeah.
Sure. So before I tell you about my business, I got to tell you a little bit about my journey to it. I was a shy little Latina girl in Hackensack, New Jersey, and I kind of came into my own when I was 12. I was hit in the back with a baseball, and I became paralyzed. I had to learn to walk again. And I had been an okay student, but I was kind of lazy. I was smart but lazy, and I couldn't go to school. So I got a tutor from the county, from Bergen County, and she says, "Okay, you don't have great grades, but you do great on tests. That tells me that you're smart but kind of lazy." Mrs. Gallo, and she says, "It's just you and me, kid. Nowhere to hide."
Wow.
And when I went back to school, because it took me a few months to learn how to walk again, when I got back to school in January, so that was in September of 1975, and I went back to school in January of 1976, and I was ahead of all my classmates. Wow. So I never went back. I decided to become an A student as much as I could, whatever. I also followed my passion at New York University. I have a bachelor's degree in French and German, and I grew up bilingual. And the bottom line is, a classmate said, CIA, the Central Intelligence Agency, is recruiting. And I'm going to go. You should go to this presentation. And I kind of said, oh, gosh, no. Little Latina girls from Hackensack, New Jersey don't work for this. That's for, white male Ivy Leaguers. The stereotype. He says, oh, go, Ilka. You've studied abroad. By this time, I'd studied abroad twice in Paris and Madrid. He said, go. I think they'd find you interesting. Bottom line is, I showed he didn't, and the rest, as they say, is history. So I spent 36 years with the Central Intelligence Agency. For the first 7, I was a technical intelligence officer, and I was undercover and used aliases and traveled around the world giving spy gear to case officers and the foreign nationals that they recruit to spy for us, the assets. Put my life on the line a couple of times. I could have been either arrested or executed for espionage. But I was gutsy, and I knew my trade craft, the way of doing business in the spy business. And I was, when you're young, you feel invincible. Yeah. So, and I was well trained, and my looks and my languages and my gender helped me, because women are generally less suspicious in the espionage business. There's a stereotype that men do it, but actually we women are really great at it. And so did that for the first 7, decided I want to do this forever, because I went to 2, what they call denied areas, countries that are particularly hostile to the United States. And I said, okay, I've been to 2. That's it. I'm not going to tempt fate. Went on a temporary assignment as a recruiter, fell in love with HR. CIA paid for my master's degree in education and human development from the George Washington University. I did it at night while I worked full time. And ultimately, I became the first Latina in HR who was promoted to the Senior Intelligence Service, which is the executive cadre of the Central Intelligence Agency. And a very decorated career, 18 exceptional performance awards, 3 medals for leadership, had big jobs, basically number 2 in talent acquisition, ran the Language Institute where we taught 16 languages. And my last assignment was the chief foreign language strategist, where I briefed the director every quarter on whether we had the right languages, the right proficiency in the right languages, given national security priorities, and whether we had the right levels. And I also ran the bonus program. I redid that because we paid people for keeping up a professional proficiency in a language, because we could then mobilize it if we went to war or whatever. And now I have my business. I'm basically monetizing that tremendous experience, because the agency is great about investing in high performers. Tremendous. I mean, just a couple of figures. When I was number 2 in talent acquisition, we would get about 150,000 applications a year for people who want to work for us. And we hired about 1%. And we hired in 120 occupations. And the fact that I was, basically number 2 there is, is a big job.
And a big deal. And
a
big deal.
Yeah. And then the other thing is CIA has, at least when I was there, and I retired in officially August 2021, our attrition was under 4%. So people came and stayed because the mission was compelling, because it was the caliber of the people I work with was just, people of high integrity, patriotism, and you had to be smart to work for CIA, so a lot of brilliant people. And now I'm basically taking that and showing organizations, no matter what the size, no matter what they're in, what business they're in, hey, let me show you how to run an organization. And specifically, let me show you how to find the right talent, develop it, do your succession planning, and retain it.
Wow.
And that's my sweet spot as an HR executive. And I love it because I think that HR is the engine of any organization, no matter what the size. If you don't have the right people and you don't keep the right talent and you don't develop them so that you have successors to take it over, you're not going to succeed in the long run. You can do it on the cheap for a while, but I think it's foolhardy to think you can succeed. So I offer, especially small and medium organizations, if you can't afford to have a chief human resources officer because you don't want to pay an executive salary, I'll set it up for you. I'll do everything. Wow. You got to follow my lead, but and then I'll be on retainer. So I think I bring a valuable service, and that's just one of the things we do. But that's kind of my core: public speaking, language instruction. I work with heritage speakers, so kids who people who learn Spanish at home, help bring up their Spanish to professional proficiency, and I do the same thing in English for Latino executives here, especially here in Florida, who need to up their English to open up their aperture as far as their opportunities. So that's just one of the few things I do.
Okay, now I'm like thinking. So this, I don't want to call these hustles because these are your expertise, right? Like how you say, like you're doing
my sweet spot. Yeah.
You don't have to do any of this because you've had a very successful career with the CIA, which is crazy to me. Like you're the only one I know.
Yeah, I know. I know that I'm a bit of a unicorn. I know that.
But it's like wow, and then it's like no, I love what I do. I do have this expertise. I can make a difference. I can be impactful, and I'm going to continue to kind of navigate this space, but in different ways. And that's what you're doing.
That's right.
Are you going to write a book? Are you writing a book?
Yes, I am. I'm writing my memoir because I think I have an interesting story to tell. Not just being, the first Latina in HR and CIA to get executive. The fact that I was I supported espionage. I was undercover for 7 years. The fact that I speak French and Spanish as well as I do English. The fact that I have German, it's a little rusty because I don't practice it as much. The fact that I'm a survivor of late stage 3 breast cancer, paralysis, plate and 8 pins holding my right leg together. Years of battling acute depressive disorder, a husband who was sick for 15 of our 20 years together, caregiver for mommy and Boppy, and became a mother through adoption because the chemo knocked out my fertility. I was blessed with my beautiful son, Oscar Ramon, at age 46. So as much adversity as I've had, I believe I've been blessed tenfold. But I believe I have a story to tell on many levels.
So many.
I think, how do you overcome professional and personal adversity? For me, it was the magic 3: faith, determination, and resilience.
Wow.
I think those were my magic 3. And with everything I've been through, because it wasn't easy getting promoted to executive at CIA. On the average, high potential GS-15s, which is the top of the regular pay scale, women get promoted within 5 years of being a GS-15. It took me 10. And I do think, in part, it was attributable to the fact that I wasn't your average HR person. I wasn't issuing transactions. I was being a strategist. I was partnering with the C-suite. I spoke truth to power. So, that Cuban, Caribbean, Colombian, and Jersey connection, that we can be feisty.
No.
Yeah. But I did it with respect, and that kind of brings me to this whole concept of compassionate candor, which we're going to talk about if okay if we transition.
Yes.
Anyway, book hopefully will out be next year. The title is Adversity Be Damned. I said it right. Adversity Be Damned, a Jersey Latina story. That's the title. And CIA has to clear it before I can shop it around.
Wow.
Because I mean, I know what I can say. What I'm going to say about the spy business, you can read in any spy novel or watch in any TV show or movie. But, part of a non-disclosure agreement that you sign when you retire, got to follow the rules.
Wow. Okay.
So,
well,
anyway.
Stay tuned. But yeah. This is still a great segue into kind of what we're gonna, be talking about, compassionate candor. I never heard about that. So
well, I kind of coined that. I think I should probably trademark it.
You should. Yes.
But to me, one of my assignments was leadership and management instructor at CIA's Leadership Academy, CIA University's Leadership Academy. So I taught first, mid, and exec leaders about leadership. And I always used to say to them, please don't allow your direct reports, whoever they may be, walk around with kick me signs on their backs. Have the integrity and the compassion and the decency to tell people when they're not performing optimally.
Wow.
But you don't have to destroy their ego. You have to say it with compassion, but you have to be direct, and you have to be specific, and you have to be timely. Don't let things fester. Again, letting them walk around with a kick me sign on their back. There's an art to giving feedback. There's a model it's an old model. It's called situation, behavior, impact. When you need to give somebody either reinforcing feedback or developmental feedback, you have to talk about the situation. Where were they? Behavior. What did they do? And the impact of that behavior on whatever, on the team, on the meeting, whatever is on the mission. If you can't articulate for that person situation, behavior, impact, they're not going to hear it. And you have to put it in a very hearable way. The tone of your voice, your eye contact. And if they fight you, you say, I don't really invest in people I don't care about. And I'm giving you this gift, especially when it's developmental feedback, right? I'm giving you this gift of feedback because I care about you and I want you to succeed. Now, you can discount it if you'd like, but I'm telling you, you need to pay attention to this. And I need to see a change in your behavior. And I'll coach you, I'll teach you, because I think good leaders are teachers and coaches. Yeah. I'll do that, but you have to respond in kind. And if it's hard for you or difficult or impossible for you to respond, then maybe we need to talk about another thing for you to do in the organization. Wow. Maybe it's not a fit. But you can't say it's not a fit and not give them the reason why, which a lot of people do. Or people just fire people. I mean, here in Florida, it's right to work or whatever the heck it's called.
Yeah.
You can just fire somebody. I don't care if that's what the law says. The right thing to do is to have at least 90 days of documented feedback, documentation.
Yeah.
Because guess what? People might sue you if you don't do that. So it really is not that hard, but we sometimes allow fear to intervene when we have to give somebody bad news, especially. And even reinforcing feedback, if to say to someone, oh, that was great, that's not enough. It was great when and this was the impact. That model is true blue. It's really foolproof. Situation behavior impact. So I think leaders have to have the decency and in some cases the courage. For me, it was never an issue of courage. I was always up for it. But as a very analytical person, I always would stop and say, okay, what are the feelings that are going to be involved here? How are they going to receive it? What kind of day have they had? I mean, even picking when you give somebody feedback is important. Don't give it when they're out the door. Find a time in the day when they can hear it, when they can focus. If they've had a terrible week, make sure you know about that. That's that's the other thing is leadership. You got to know the people you're leading. But as far as feedback, you don't have to destroy egos. You don't have to be cruel. Quite the opposite. I think giving people developmental feedback, especially, you have to be as compassionate and empathetic as you can be, and you have to help them see a way forward. And if they're struggling, you got to help them. You got to roll up your sleeves.
Yeah.
And if in the end they can't make the transition, well, then that's another conversation.
Right.
But that to me is relatively simple to do if you think about it. If you decide that it's necessary. But I would argue that it's always absolutely necessary if you're an effective leader. If you're a leader of some heft. We had a director, my favorite, Dr. General Michael Hayden. I loved him. He was director of the National Security Agency, the signal intelligence people before he came to CIA. And he was an Air Force general. And we rarely had military directors, but he was one of them. And his first town meeting with us in our headquarters auditorium, he said, "Ladies and gentlemen, it's about three things. If you're a CIA officer, it's about service, integrity, and excellence." SIE. And when I redid the new employee orientation, we had little badge buddies, that we put behind a little laminating behind your badge because we wore them around our necks that said service, integrity, and excellence. So that every new recruit would know exactly what it had to be about. Wow. That did so much. It established the organizational culture. It communicated General Hayden's philosophy. And those three words have guided me professionally, personally too, my whole life. Wow. And I love that guy. He is fabulous. He has a Center for Intelligence at the George Mason University in Northern Virginia. He's a legend in my book. I loved working for him. Wow. And I briefed him too, which was an honor as a GS-15.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah, it was cool. He was one.
SIE, service, integrity, excellence.
Yeah, that's right. To me, those are great guiding principles for life.
Wow. Mm-hmm. Oh my goodness. Are you gonna selfishly, can that be a workshop?
Absolutely. Absolutely. No, I mean, I was a trainer. I've done all kinds of training, giving feedback. I created our first pre-supervisory course. It was called, I named it So You Want to Be a Manager. They changed it eventually. It's called the Emerging Leaders Program. But, being a Jersey girl, I said, so you want to be a manager, ? Because basically I'd worked for some really piss poor leaders. And I said, people sometimes go into leadership because it's more money, it's prestige, it's a title. And right? Not enough, not good enough. You got to really first love yourself and love the people you lead. I'm not, obviously I'm talking about, being humane with people, but you have to want the best for people if you're going to be a great leader. I said, let's have people make informed choices about going into management. So it was a simulation, inbox. I rate role play. I rate an employee. We put them through the ringer for like 3-4 days. And at the end of it, some of them said, you know what, I'm not suited to that, or I'm not ready for that. And I thought, that's it. We did it. Yeah. Having people be more informed before making the choice of being in management and leadership. That was and it's still in place. And I have a lot of legacy that I left at CIA. I helped establish with a group of us the Employee Resource Group, the Hispanic Advisory Council. And we were in business, so to speak, for 35 years until the president chose to disband all those employee resource groups in the federal sector. But I know we did a lot of good. Yeah. Because, and we said, we want to keep the hard-won talent we have. Latinos are starting to say, I don't know if I made the right choice, or maybe I don't have the best supervisor. And we said, for free, we'll be force multipliers. We'll help you keep those employees in. And if they have a bad day or think they know what the secret to getting ahead is, we'll say, come over here, I'll talk to you. Wow. I know it's hard, you know, but we were really proud of the work we did.
Yeah,
And,
as you should be.
yeah, and I believe in employees resource groups because it's not about a giveaway. It's not about entitlement. It's about, let me show you how to be successful. You have to do it, but I'll give you some pointers. That's all it is. It's not entitlement, equal opportunity, all that stuff that they say. It's not that.
Yeah.
Yeah. So anyway, I'm getting on a soapbox. Sorry.
No, Ilka, do you know that we are out of time?
I know. I see the clock. Yeah.
I am. Damn, this was really good.
Thank you.
I want to thank you for just sharing a piece of your story.
Thank you.
I am really excited to know you, and
thank you.
Honored
Likewise.
to be in community with you. Oh,
you're a trailblazer too, Heidi.
I thank
yes, you are.
You're next level though, baby. Like I'm gonna have to get to Tampa, and can't wait to learn more about your book. And for those that are tuned in, we're gonna put Ilka's her website, her links, making sure that you have or make it very easily accessible to you.
Thank you.
And yeah, we'll see you soon, and see you in Tampa. Thank you so much.
Yeah, God willing. Thank you, sweetheart. Have a good day.
You too. Bye,
All right,
everybody.
bye.